from the king of Assyria, where now it brings about spiritual decline, whereby now he goes back following or looking after or doing the sins that was being done by the other people, whereby unapata in the verse 16, verse 15, he moves to and enter to the Damascus, where he sees an altar, and the altars of the pagans, those people that were living in Damascus. And then he ordered for the priest Urijah to come and make that altar also in Judah, which was against the Lord's command. Now we see that political alliances where he aligned himself with the king of Assyria. Now he's copying back idolatry to the people of Judah, and this one brings now spiritual decline. And that was the main thing that was running there. And now we'll move to chapter 17. Chapter 17, we'll find now another. Now, chapter 17, the chapter the topic that I came up is the fall of the northern kingdom. And here we are going to find another king, which is called Hoshea, the last king of Israel. And he was defeated by Assyria. That's verse 1. In the 12th year of Ahaziah, king of Judah, began Hoshea the son of Elah to reign in Samaria over Israel 9 years, and he did that which was evil. Now we see the continuity of the sinning. People just now they have taken sin normal thing in their life. Now he's always continuing to sin. And in that continuous sinning, we find that Israel now is exiled after 3 years to siege of Samaria. Now, in this, we find that the Hoshea was now the king of the northern kingdom, and he also did as per therefore the king that came the preside after him before him. He's sinning also against God, and you know that against came up the Shalema king of Assyria. Hoshea became now after that. We find that. He did what is evil, but not in the sight of the king of Israel that were before him. Against him, the camp of Shalma, king of Assyria, and Hoshea became his servant. Now we find that now, during the rule of Hoshea, there come an attack by the Shalmaneser, the king of Assyria, and Hoshea became his servant. So now the king of the northern kingdom also had been attacked by the Assyria. But now he had a conspiracy. Now the Shalma, the king of Assyria came to learn that he had conspiracy. He was sending messages to king of Egypt, and he never brought present to the king of Assyria. And now the king of Assyria came up through the land and went up to Israel and besieged it. So for that, now we see that the people of Israel are now being exiled for 3 years to Samaria. Now after that, the Bible now comes to explain more. The Bible it comes to blame, so it comes to elaborate more about the reasons why these people are being exiled, because they are sinning against God. You find that they were conducting idolatry, they were rejecting prophecy. You have seen the book of chapter 17, verse 13. Yet the Lord testified against Israel and against Judah by all the prophets and by all the seers, saying, Turn ye from your evil ways, and keep my commandments and my statutes, according to all the law which I commanded your father, and which I sent to you by the servants of the prophets. Notwithstanding, they would not hear, but hardened their necks like to the neck of their fathers that did not believe in the Lord their God. So you find out that these people are still, you see that our God, this God, he gave them time. And he tried to send prophets to them, return back, move back, check your ways first, move to the correct way. But they rejected. They say, the Bible quoted that, notwithstanding, they would not hear, but hardened their necks like the neck of their fathers that did not believe in the Lord their God. You see now they reject the statutes of the Lord. They made that the Lord made with their fathers. So, in summary, the Bible is now explaining what happens, or what was the main cause that the Lord moved away from the people of Israel, where now we find the king of Assyria coming back to exile them for 3 years because they moved against the will of God. They moved against the covenant that the Lord had made with their forefathers, Abraham, the Isaac, and Jacob, and they did what was against God. They then Assyrian replaced Samaria with people of other nations.
Emmanuel, you can project your voice, eh? Umejua unaongea kama mtu mwenye discussion, kama mtu mwenye ako peke yake.
Oh, sawa. So okay, now
project your voice like that. Yes, hapo.
Like that.
Yeah, hivyo.
Okay. Yeah. Now we find that in this chapter we find that we have Hoshea, the last king of Israel, and this king, he comes to be attacked by the king of Assyria, and the Israel are being sieged for 3 years in Samaria, and because the reason why they are besieged in Samaria for 3 years, the Bible tries to blame Israel for not hearing, for not being heed for the word of the Lord. Because the Bible says they practice idolatry, which was against the 10 commandments of the Lord. The Bible says that do not worship another God, do not fear another God. But now they go in that mandate, they go up to whereby they worship idol. They go whereby they reject prophets, whereby the Bible says in the chapter 13, verse 13, yet the Lord testified against Israel and against Judah by all the prophets and by all the seers, saying, turn ye from evil ways and keep my commandments and my statutes, according to all the law which I commanded your father, and which I sent to you by my servants the prophets. So like our God is a God of second chance. God can give you time to look back and then say that you have to move on the right track. But these people of Israel, they hardened their neck as their forefathers. So that's the reason why you see now the Assyrian coming to siege the people of Israel and placing them in Samaria. And now when they were in that Samaria, the king of Assyria repopulated Samaria with people of other nations. So now like he mixes people of Israel. Now, like when you sin, when you become more sinful, you lose your identity. The people of Israel now they are losing their identity, spiritual identity. Now they are being mixed together with the people of the world. So it is a lesson for Christian that when you continue sinning consciously, the Lord has sent a warning to you, but you're just there ignoring it. God will mix you with another person. So you see that now people of Israel are being mixed with the Samaritan people. And through that, we have now intermingling, and we are coming up with another generation called Samaritans are born. Now these new settlers mix worship of God with idols, corrupting the worship. So as a Christian, what you learn from this is that we have been given like a Bible, which is reprimanding us to go as per the will of God. But if you move as per your own understanding or as per the world, the Bible says God will mix you with other people because he causes an enemy, Assyrian, to mix people, the Israel people, with Samaritans. So this means that if you are a Christian, you believe in God, and you continue moving in sin, God will mix you and you lose your identity. And like a people without identity, you are a lost sheep. And a lost sheep, like you are an open-ended person where an arrow will come from nowhere and will attack you. That's why you see the people of Israel, because of that, they are being judged. They are being led. They're being led to judgment, whereby they're being exiled for 3 years. And the main theme in this chapter that I come up is that sin leads to judgment, and mixed worship leads to corruption. And the explanation of that is that because of the people of Israel sinning against God, God tried to warn them through prophets, but they hardened their neck as their forefathers. And we see that they are being now exiled to Assyria, for Samaria for 3 years. That is now the judgment that will come because of sinning. And that after sinning, they have lost their identity, spiritual identity. Now they are being mixed together with the Samaritan people, whereby now they have those intermarriages. We bring about the Samaritans are being born. That in spiritual perspective, I come up with as a Christian, if you cannot control yourself, if you cannot hide from sin, God will mix you with someone else who is sinning, and then you'll bring out a generation that is more sinful, and this will bring about the corruption of the true worship of God. So as a Christian, you have to be keen of what you do always. That was what I found on chapter 17. Then on chapter 18, we now find a reform. We have now a new king, which we call Hezekiah. Now, it comes to pass the 3rd year of Hoshea, son of Elah, the king of Israel, Hezekiah, the son of Asa, king of Judah, began to reign. Now, this one is another. We have been moving in an evil realm, a spiritual realm that was full of evil, full of corruption, full of idolatry, and people doing, copying things that were not good in the sight of the Lord. Now, in this chapter 18, we are going to find another thing, a good and a pleasant thing spiritually, because we find a righteous king, a king that have dedicated his life to live holy and understanding that God, he need to serve God, he need to know more about God. And we find that the main plot of this, we have Hezekiah reforms and Assyrian threat. Now Hezekiah becomes the king of Judah, and he was a righteous king. He did what was good in the sight of the Lord. And these are things that he did. He destroyed idols, including the bronze